Hi everyone, this is Katie Covey, and this is the Leaders Lab shortened version for healing for November. A short announcement, the next Leaders Lab will be Stillness for December at 1 p.m. on Wednesday, November 11th. Hope you'll join me for that one. So I just wanted to outline an introduction and overview to my view of the healing packet. There are 5 possible sessions. The first is don't run away from the hard work of healing. And that has to do with all the fights that the kids get into. We want to work through some role plays about the fights so they understand that there are coping skills and mechanisms for healing from a fight. The second session is Let Gratitude Heal You. That uses the beautiful online Spirit of Life recording done by All Souls New York. Just brings tears to my eyes, as well as the story of how Carolyn McDade used that as a prayer for her own healing. I just want to let you know that since this is the month of Thanksgiving, in my work as a DRE, I used to suggest that families use Spirit of Life as an opening prayer for their Thanksgiving meal. And it gives them something to access when you're sitting down at the meal and you're waiting to start. A lot of families will hold hands in silence or say one thing they're grateful for. The Spirit of Life as a prayer is just one more thing that I suggest families do. And by the way, it's a real numerology thing. Notice that Spirit of Life is hymn number 1, 2, 3 in our hymn book. I think that's significant. The third session is Listen Before You Try to Heal Others. This is the Platinum Rule lesson. It's pointed out that when we use the Golden Rule, do unto others as you would have them do unto you, it's a very self-centered kind of healing. I want this done to me, so of course other people want this done to me. And the Platinum Rule, which can be connected to our second principle, by the way, is let them tell you what they need. And that's a very special and important difference. Let's see. There's a great thing we made. It's a Google slide deck of several optical illusions. So it's the vase, which do you see the goblet, the vase, or do you see 2 people looking at each other? And it just helps the kids share how, or see how different perspectives are possible. The fourth session is Heal by Telling the Truth. This is our anti-racism session. It's closely connected to the truth about the Thanksgiving myth that white people have perpetrated. And it was a discovery of mine of a group of people going around to different communities, Nui, Jinan, and working with the kids to create a rap or a song. And I've included some of those in there. They're beautiful. I spent a whole afternoon just exploring all of their songs. So I want to lift that up for you. Also, let's see. Oh, on the general theme of healing in November, as I mentioned in our welcome letter, we're going to have some big things happening in November. Of course, the election. They're talking about a possible resurgence of COVID. Certainly here where I live in the American West, in Colorado, we are now seem to be peaking. And that's another source of stress and concern. And if you're living in California or here in Colorado, we also have the smoke from the forest fires, the evacuations. And so sharing with our children and families ways that we can be healing and find comfort is an important theme right now. That brings me to the last session, find ways to comfort yourself. I call it my chicken soup soul, and one of the delightful things that I found was a way that you can use chicken soup with rice by Maurice Sendak as a tapping meditation. And also the whole idea of making chicken soup together on Zoom. Hey, I was like at first, how would we do that? And then I thought, I will leave it to you guys, but I think it would be really fun. Ramen noodles, a can of vegetables, and there you have it, something really simple. This is one of my family traditions. I'll read you my birthday one. In June, I saw a charming group of roses all begin to droop. I pepped them up with chicken soup. Sprinkle once, sprinkle twice, sprinkle chicken soup with rice. And there is a little poem on chicken soup for every single month. And so what I used to do with the kids was ask them their month of birthdays and read them their chicken soup poem. Finally, I wanted to mention the Ray Bradbury video that I suggest. I really hope that you use it for older elementary school children. For the youngest ones, I have an alternative in there because the Ray Bradbury one is sort of dark. I'll leave it to the maturity of your kids. However, it's the story, it's a sci-fi that he wrote in the 50s. And this was given to me when I was a little girl as a story. And it stuck with me for the rest of my life, which is why I put this in. One little girl comes to join a colony on Venus, I think it is, and they only see the rain stop once every 7 years. And the little girl has been living on Earth, and she remembers what flowers and what sunshine is like, and they tease her, and she's different. And so they end up sticking her in a closet, and then they forget that she's in there. And when the sun finally comes out, they run around in the field, and they come back and they realize the awful truth is they've left her out of this experience, and she's going to have to wait once every 7 years. The takeaway for me is the idea that, first of all, process what things might happen to people when they are different. When you feel a little threatened by someone and you start to think of something cruel, this story might make you think, wait, maybe it's not worth doing something cruel. And then in addition, you come up with alternative endings. And this is the place that I remember so vividly that I wasn't even sure that this wasn't the real ending. We came up with the idea that they gathered flowers. They realized she was in that closet. They gathered flowers and brought that little bit of sunshine back to her as a way of trying to make up for locking her in the closet. Anyway, let's see. Also, family connections. I was just able to be down in the Grand Canyon area, which of course the whole east side is part of the Navajo Nation. And I came upon an Australian woman who was working with the COVID response for the Navajo Nation. She says it's going very, very well. The Navajos are very responsive. They've shut down several of the highways. And I also put in a link for a family connection for that particular COVID response, which might be a possibility. So there's an overview. That's the healing for November. I hope you have a wonderful November, and as busy as you are, that you take some time for your own personal filling, which is a healing way, not just fixing, but filling and being whole. Blessed be. Amen. I hope to see you next month.